Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for all my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion-based video channel where I try to open your eyes and ears up to some of the travails and tribulations that take place throughout our cities, our states, our country, and sometimes around the world. And this one I have for you today is coming straight out of San Diego and its relationship with Planned Parenthood. The University of California, San Diego health system and Planned Parenthood. And we know there's been a lot of controversy in the last year or two over abortion rights and how it has been abolished federally. And if anybody has seen some of my videos, one should look at the history of how Planned Parenthood got started by a young lady named Margaret Sanger, where she was from New York, and she started placing clinics in the South in low-income communities of color, and they started this whole thing with legalized abortions to curtail the number of children of color being born. So they were trying to suppress the numbers of African-American low-income babies from coming into life. They were concerned about that, and this has Planned Parenthood, so there was a population control component to this, and there's been a lot of comparisons to eugenics with Planned Parenthood and population control. Well, just when you think that's so controversial on how the start of Planned Parenthood initiated itself in America, we have a story here recently. So Margaret Sanger, population control for children of color, poor children of color, associating it with neo-Nazi eugenics. And now you have an issue where Planned Parenthood has this relationship with the University of California, San Diego, where they are negotiating for fetal tissue and organs of aborted babies and then selling them. So let's get into this story, and please listen to this whole video, like, share, and tell me your thoughts on it. But Planned Parenthood, this thing that we think that it's about women's rights for abortions, or the women's right to have one or not to have one, there's a lot of controversy and underbelly of fortuitous and hubris kinds of controversial things that are taking place with Planned Parenthood. So let's get into it. Planned Parenthood's stomach-churning emails about negotiating for fetus donations are exposed. Stomach-churning emails show Planned Parenthood negotiating terms regarding the donation of aborted fetuses for medical research. The emails discuss fetal tissue like any other commodity, such as sugar or rice, nonchalantly negotiating for fetuses up to 23 weeks old from elective abortions. A heavily redacted so-called research plan submitted to the University of California, San Diego Institutional Review Board and approved in 2018 states scientists wanted 2,500 fetuses from up to almost to 6 months of gestation for experimentation. We will collect tissues from fetuses ranging from 4 to 23 weeks gestational age from subjects undergoing elective surgical pregnancy termination at Planned Parenthood in San Diego, the plan states. Although selling fetal tissue is illegal, donating it is not illegal. The contract between University of California, San Diego, and Planned Parenthood appears to allow Planned Parenthood to retain intellectual property rights relating to the fetal tissue, although it also does not grant University of California, San Diego the independent right to commercialize the tissue. So how could Planned Parenthood get intellectual property rights of a human being, a fetus, that they don't even own? That came from a mother and this baby, but they're going to take intellectual property rights, legal documents like that fetus is a piece of rice or corn and then take ownership of it. That sounds very contradictory and very troubling. The fetuses were taken to perinatal repository at the University of California, San Diego to be researched. The emails were shared with the Post by controversial pro-life activist David Delienden and his organization, the Center for Medical Progress, who obtained them through a California state public records request. The majority of healthy infants born at 23 weeks can survive with modern medical care. The youngest surviving premature baby, Curtis Means, was born at 21 weeks and 2 days in April 2021 in Alabama. These documents show that Planned Parenthood is supplying healthy babies who are old enough to survive outside the womb from late-term abortions to the University of California's royalty-generating experiments, Delienden told the Post. After months of pro-abortion forces and media gaslighting the public about whether late-term abortions on healthy babies and healthy mothers actually happen, to see it spelled out this explicitly in the records of a government-funded body is truly shocking and also extremely clarifying for the conversation on abortion in our country that we are currently having today. The Post cannot confirm whether any of the fetuses supplied to University of California, San Diego were healthy or able to survive outside the womb prior to the abortions. Delienden also accuses Planned Parenthood of racism, citing the consent forms from Planned Parenthood involving the donation of pregnancy tissues from the abortions, which are given to pregnant women. The English language consent forms contain 15 bullet points, including language disclosing that the donated tissue may have significant commercial value. However, that specific information is not included in the Spanish language consent forms, which contain only 14 bullet points. The Post viewed both forms. I don't understand why Planned Parenthood and the University of California, San Diego felt that Spanish-speaking mothers did not deserve to know that the body parts of their aborted children would be commercialized, while English-speaking mothers did deserve to have this fact disclosed to them. The only explanation I can think of is why this discrepancy persisted for at least 4 years is blatant institutional racism. UCSD did not respond to a request for comment by the Post. The documents Delienden received through the public records request showed transfer of aborted fetuses from Planned Parenthood to UC San Diego taking place under an ongoing biological materials transfer agreement contract. That contract, made for valuable consideration, grants University of California, San Diego access to fetal and placenta tissue, which are proprietary materials of Planned Parenthood San Diego. The parties agreed that in granting access to the proprietary aborted fetal body parts, PPSD, Planned Parenthood San Diego, shall retain all right, title, and interest in and to the material, including but not limited to all right, title, and interest in patents and patent applications and other intellectual property rights relating to the material. So they're taking these fetuses from these mothers, these aborted fetuses, and they're taking complete ownership of them and even signing intellectual property rights on these fetuses like they're a car. Women need to wake up about this whole thing about Planned Parenthood and thinking that they are a safe haven or support you for women's rights to their own body. One email from researchers to Planned Parenthood showed to the Post notes how they have 27 heart samples but requested more, of varying fetal ages, including 15 weeks or later. She agrees with me that hearts should be pretty easy to collect, writes one UCSD clinician. Planned Parenthood's national office did not respond to an email from the Post. Neither did the pro-abortion organization, the Center for Reproductive Rights, have a comment. Delia Don has been under investigation by the California State Attorney General's office since 2015, when then California Attorney General Kamala Harris went after him allegedly at the behest of Planned Parenthood. So you got Vice President Kamala Harris in this. He had released undercover videos of their executives discussing fees and prices associated with the transfer of fetal tissues in July 2015. Planned Parenthood has denied that these videos show any illegal conduct, but rather shows the legal, not-for-profit donation of fetal tissue to research firms. At several of our health centers, we help patients who want to donate tissue for scientific research. They want to donate it, or they're being forced and pushed to do this once they've aborted their child. Really? And we do this just like every other high-quality healthcare provider does, with will, appropriate consent from patients, and under the highest ethical and legal standards. Highest ethical and legal standards. This seems awfully hypocritical and tons of dichotomy. Planned Parenthood spokesman Eric Ferrara said at the time, in some instances, actual costs, such as the cost to transport tissue to leading research centers, are reimbursed, which is standard across the medical field, he said in a statement. Delia Don faces 8 felony charges and possible jail time in California for making the undercover videos, as well as for manufacturing a fake driver's license in order to enter Planned Parenthood's offices in Houston. A trial date has tentatively been set for next month in San Francisco Superior Court. Delia Don has pleaded not guilty on the to the charges. Delia Don's legal troubles have not dissuaded him and his fellow activists from continuing to expose what they claim are illegal practices involving harvested fetal tissue. It's a pattern that repeats across the country. Large late-term abortion clinics that have partnerships with their local taxpayer-funded research universities. In March, U.S. Senator Marco Rubio called for a federal investigation into Planned Parenthood based on Delia Don's work. It says the transfer of any aborted human fetal tissue for valuable consideration across state lines is a federal felony punishable by up to 10 years in prison or a fine up to $500,000. Under the law, valuable consideration does not include reasonable payments associated with the transportation, implantation, processing, preservation, quality control, or storage of fetal tissues. Man, what is going on with Planned Parenthood? As I say to you all the time, the things that appear on the outside, all things that glitter on gold, and what appears on the inside sometimes are not in alignment. How do we know that Planned Parenthood is not pressuring these young ladies to have abortions if they go to a clinic and they're questioning whether they want to do this or not? This is a very stressful time for a young lady on whether to keep the baby or to abort it. And then you have a situation where Planned Parenthood has agreements with these university health systems where they need these aborted fetuses, their tissues, their organs, for their own research. So where is Planned Parenthood? They're going to pressure these young women into having abortions so they can sell these fetuses, tissues, and their vital organs. This organ harvesting is something else. I mean, we've been talking about the opioid crisis, the migrant issue, human trafficking, sex trafficking, but there is a real another underbelly and an undercurrent that is taking place with the harvesting of organs. There's been all kinds of theories about people missing in major cities like Chicago, Philadelphia, D.C., Atlanta, where young people have been missing and have not been found. And there have been controversial claims that they have been kidnapped killed, and then their organs are being sold on the black market. And you have this situation is right up under our nose, and where a company like Planned Parenthood is trying to use legalities to take these fetuses, many of them all the way up to 6 months, an aborted fetus, and then using those tissues and those organs and selling them to these healthcare systems. And it's taking place right here right there in the University of California in San Diego. This is such a controversial and sad case that needs to be researched and looked at more and more, because I see all kind of HIPAA violations and the inhumane treatment of not only the mother, but this aborted fetus. This child doesn't have a chance in hell to survive. If a mother goes to an abortion clinic and is questioning whether to have one, and then you have Planned Parenthood that has these secret contracts and negotiations and even taking intellectual property over your aborted fetus, they're going to push you to have an abortion. This is a money grab and a business. This has nothing to do with the health and welfare of that female and her baby. This is such a sad case. Please share and like and tell me your thoughts on this deal where Planned Parenthood has a stomach-churning emails that have surfaced about them negotiating fetus donations after the fetus has been aborted, has been exposed. What a sad story. Tell me what you think. This has been the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth.